So, team, there's one person out there right now who is getting, he's been on Tucker's show. He's getting a lot of attention because he's willing to ask questions and push data that is contrary to the consensus. Now, there are others as well. My friend Jesse Kelly is sounding the alarm about the economy on a regular basis. Matt Walsh over at the Daily Wire taking a lot of heat. I'm willing to say publicly, the numbers are wrong. The numbers are wrong. Okay, maybe we still do everything we're doing. We can talk about that, but the numbers are wrong. So does that matter? And I mean the projections from even a week ago, and they're off not by like 10%. They're off by 400%, folks. Is that supposed to be, is that supposed to matter or not? I think it matters quite a bit. So let me take you to Alex Berenson. He is the one who, more than anyone else, has been digging into the data publicly and saying the models are wrong, the numbers are wrong. And let me tell you what he, as of this morning, or as of, I should say, around this afternoon, his latest run on these numbers. Because I think you should hear this assessed. This is analysis of the numbers that he's giving. This is what Berenson writes. Look, I get why people were so scared 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was too. But now for the media to ignore the real demographics and scare people with outlier cases, to ignore the mostly empty hospitals all over the country, to pretend that the models weren't wrong, and to refuse to ask really hard questions about what that means about them and the efficacy or lack thereof of the lockdowns, to refuse to ask for hard metrics we will use to reopen the country, it doesn't feel like panic is driving this anymore. It feels like people just won't admit what's happening, and we cannot afford that. Not with unemployment headed to its worst level since the Depression, not with children denied school and our rights under siege. Wake up. End quote. That's what he's saying. I mean, maybe he's way off. Maybe he's wrong. Someone just needs to tell me. Someone needs to explain to me why he's wrong. Someone needs to tell me why his assessment based on the numbers is so incorrect. Other than saying, people are dying, this is really bad, this is really scary. I know that. We all know that. Look, I even asked in one of the breaks, I asked producer Mark, I said, producer Mark, am I crazy? And he said, in general? And I was like, yeah. He goes, thanks, Mark. I appreciate that.
I mean, I just answered the question.
Yeah, it's I go to my executive producer here. Am I nuts, basically? And Mark's answer is probably not.
I go, not really. I think that's what
not
I
really.
said.
Not really. That's his answer. And I said, okay, well, I meant on this particular issue, and he's like, oh, I thought you meant in general.
I did say, I said in general, and you said yes.
Yeah, but I meant in general about this.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that you went with the even more general, like, am I of sound mind? And Mark is like, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on this one.
I don't think anybody's of sound mind right now in New York.
Yeah, I'm going to say you slid in under the tag and you made it the home plate. That was correct, right? That was a good sports analogy.
Kind of, probably not the way I would have worded it.
Yeah,
but okay.
You got to give me a cookie or something for that.
All right, I'll send you a batch of gluten-free cookies.
There we go. They're very delicious when you make them the right way. How are you doing, man? We're doing a quarantine check-in with producer Mark. And by the way, can we start, producer Nick? I know you can't respond right now, but we would love to actually sometimes. Can we get producer Nick to chat with us too sometime? We got to figure out the tech on this.
Sure. Once we set up the guests, I think we'll be able to do that.
There we go. We get producer Nick to tell us how he's doing because he's got little ones. And I got to say one thing that I'm missing out. I've got a little one in the form of a chubby. More like 32 pounds. She was 30 pounds, but it's going up because Papa Buck is making her all kinds of delicious food. I got a 30-pound French bulldog here, which is Frenchies are usually like 15 to 20. So she is a gigantic Frenchie. Beautiful mom. I know. We all know she's beautiful.
I'm saying nothing because I don't want Mrs. Sexton
Mrs. Sexton does not. She does not. Sometimes I call her I call Tallulah my chubby little friend, and I get told that she's not chubby, she's full figured, and that is unacceptable. But you should see her she knows the difference. If I open the fridge to pour myself a glass of water, she doesn't move. But if I open the fridge and even I touch like a packet of ham that's sealed, she magically appears at my feet. It's like she has a teleportation device. And what are you going to do, producer Mark, when the Frenchie wants a little extra ham? You got to give her some ham.
Yeah, I mean, when that face looks at you, how do you not give it food?
That's right, exactly. Yeah. I think her eyes. I think that there's a natural selection thing here, a Darwinian. She has the cutest puppy face and eyes that she knows to turn on when she wants more food or more treats.
I think every dog has that.
Yeah. Oh, of course. No, but they've learned. We think that they do everything that we tell them, and then we cater our lives to making them happy. This is feels like some relationships I've been in, not with dogs. All right. Let's. We were going to get a roll, but no, Mark. I'm sorry. I was. How are you doing, my friend? How are you doing with quarantine,
I'm doing
lockdown?
Well. I've started to work out at home. I did that the other day. I'm going to do it again.
What are you
today.
doing in what's some of the routine?
Let's see. We do some planks, a little squatting with this wicker basket I have that I just fill with stuff to make it heavier. Nice. Some push-ups, stuff like that.
Look at you, wicker basket. That's like some CrossFit stuff there. Next thing you're just going to be carrying, heavy canvas bags full of groceries or something around your living room.
That's a good idea. I ordered some resistance bands off of Amazon.
Now, I was going to do that too, but I would say be careful with that because some people, when I asked a friend who's a weightlifter, like a real weightlifter, on Twitter yesterday, and he mentioned resistance bands. Then all these people said that they can snap and actually really hurt you. So just be a little careful with those.
Well, I'm not going to, pull them that hard that they're going to snap.
Yeah, don't keep them near your face. That's all I'm saying. I think you can handle it anywhere else, but that hits you in the eye. That thing is.
Well, I figure I can use these outside. I have a little patio, so I can tie them to the railing.
Have a patio,
I do. I have a patio.
Yeah, producer Mark.
It's very nice. It overlooks a swamp.
Living the high life. Yeah. That's what we like to hear. Very nice, buddy. All right, that's cool. Do you have a quarantine beverage of choice?
Alcoholic or not alcoholic?
Oh, alcoholic, of course.
Yeah, because non-alcoholic is water. I've been drinking a lot of beer and wine. I haven't hit the liquor yet.
What's the beer go to?
Shock Top. I have a case of that.
What is Shock Top?
It's like Blue Moon, but just different. It's like the same style as Blue Moon. It's delicious.
Okay.
They do in the summer a Shock Top Lemon Shandy. My favorite beer.
Well, if we ever get a beer sponsor, you're going to have to do the reads. It's going to
because you can't drink beer unless it's gluten free.
I can't drink beer. Yeah, exactly. So people would know. I'm like, I love this beer that is poisoning my immune system because I have a genetic issue and I cannot drink beer.
Now, do I get the read fee also?
I think we'd have to give you the read fee.
Okay.
I think we got to.
We're going to have to work on that.
If there's a beer company out there that wants to sponsor producer Mark, we got to get them in the mix. So you're doing okay. How's the Mrs. Ariel? She good? I'm sorry, Mrs. Mark, also known as Ariel.
Yes, she's doing fine as well. Has to commute a little bit, a couple days a week, but other than that, she's doing well.
Does she go? Does she do the mask and the gloves, or how is she?
Well, she works in a medical facility, so she has to. That's like a kind of a company requirement.
So that's kind of a standard. Yeah, that's not that unusual for her anyway.
Well, no. Normally, she wouldn't be. Before this all happened, she wasn't wearing a mask, but she was patient facing. So I guess maybe she should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. So she's doing well. Spirits are high.
Yeah, spirits are high. Everyone's doing well.
Are you guys? There's a story out there that people are. I was going to say rescuing, but that's not really true. I think they're just buying them bunny rabbits as pets for Easter. And everyone should know that a bunny rabbit, first of all, they live to be like 10 years old. So it's not like you get a bunny and it's a goldfish. They live for a long time. You really have a lot of that. I don't think you can potty train them, although I don't know. I'm sure there's some bunny rabbit experts out there that are going to yell at me for this. I don't think you can potty train. Not potty train them. House. Gosh, you definitely can't potty train them. Buck.
Yeah,
my God.
It's not a child, Buck.
If a rabbit hops on my toilet at some point in my, that means that Buck has gone loco.
You can potty train a cat. I've seen that done.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't Mr. Jinxie from Meet the Parents? Doesn't he potty train?
Yeah, remember he gets flushed by the dog.
Yeah, and he's got you got to milk the cat with little cat nipples. He says, you milk the cat.
Yes, I believe that was part of Meet the Fockers when he gets
Meet
flushed.
the Parents. Oh, Meet the Fockers, the next one.
Yes, the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But people are getting rabbits, and I just would.
I actually know somebody who had a pet rabbit and loved it because they were both allergic to cats and dogs, so they got a rabbit.
I'm sure they can be very sweet pets. I just think that anyone who's making an impulse buy, they always tell people don't, because when they're rabbits, when they're really young, they fit. They're like in the palm of your hand, and you feel like, oh, how much work can this be? That little rabbit grows to be like, 10 pounds or so, and you got to feed it and clean up after it and take care of it. It's a pet. It's a little animal. So there always are these public service announcements like, don't think that a bunny rabbit is a cute thing to get for your 5-year-old because it's like getting a dog essentially, or it's like getting a cat, I guess, more because he poos. I'm sorry.
And isn't a rabbit to Easter like Santa Claus is to Christmas?
Yeah, of course. But people are getting pet rabbits now, and I think part of this is driven by the quarantine that everyone wants to have. Look, I am so thankful that I have this chubby little French bulldog that orders me around my own apartment all day because I got someone to hang out. I got you to hang out with on the radio, and I got a French bulldog, and that's it.
Why don't people just go shelter a dog or a cat?
They're out. The shelters are
really.
Are
that's great.
A lot. I know it is great news. A lot of shelters have had a huge surge in people that wanted to go get dogs. At least I read that a couple of weeks ago. So no, it's fantastic if that's a widespread phenomenon because we want to get all the shelter dogs out. But yeah, no, I think. And by the way, there's some shelters. It's like not that because I've looked into this. It's not that easy. You gotta. It's like
they vet you.
They vet you. They treat it like, which I appreciate and I respect that. But it's like you're adopting a kid a little bit in some ways. I mean, there's like
even just to foster the dog, like just to temporarily have it so it's out of the
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, I think it's good because we want everyone's all the. First of all, I want all the dogs out of the shelters. We want all the dogs to be treated very, very well. But there's definitely a surge in pet ownership as a result of this. I've seen that, but I don't know. We've talked about guinea pigs. Okay, producer Mark, I'm putting you on the spot. If you have to show up with a little present for Ariel, a little box with holes in it, is it going to be a guinea pig or a bunny?
I don't want to be homeless, so neither.
She's not into either of those, huh?
No.
What about a fish? Would she go for a fish?
I mean, I guess so. Where are we going to put it?
I always feel like a terrarium is a lot of effort. Otherwise, it'd be kind of cool to have some kind of a lizard. But if that lizard ever got out and was running around my apartment, I don't know. Gecko to me is kind of cute, maybe because of the
not if you live
commercial.
Down south.
Oh, really?
They used to get in that. So I lived in Florida for a period of time. They used to get in the house. They would die immediately because they die from air conditioning, but it's still scary. And not that they can hurt you, but the fear of reptiles.
I feel like a gecko. I knew somebody, and I will not name. It's somebody in the media. I had a friend who said that she had a pet rat, and I was like, when you mean a pet rat, you mean like some kind of gerbil or something, a hamster that no, she meant a Norway rat, which is actually, I believe, the technical term for what we think of as subway rats. And she had a pet rat.
Why?
She said it was very, very affectionate and a very nice pet, and I was just flabbergasted by this.
I hope she didn't get it off the subway system.
No. Raised straight away. No, because of course the diseases that they're exposed to in the wild, if we could even really call it that, but I guess it is technically the wild. I don't know, man. I'm happy to have a French bulldog. I don't think I'd go with anything else. I did have I told you I think I had a bird for a little while. We gave it away.
Did it fly away?
No, it didn't fly away. We gave it away, but when I was a kid, my parents let me get a bird, but we didn't. That thing shrieked all day.
I feel like it's just rude to the bird to have one in your house.
Shrieked all day and pooed all over the place, and that was the problem with having a bird. So you gotta really want. But African parrots are amazing. I mean, some people really get very, very attached to their birds, but mine did not last that long. We gave it away, found a nice home for it, but birds are more work than you think. It was a cockatiel. They have the little mohawk.
Do you take them for walks? Like, how does that go?
No, they fly around the apartment, but they go back into the cage. The cage just effectively becomes like their nest. So you have a little door, and they come in and out, and you feed them seeds, and you give them a little fruit if you want. They've got a little water thing, and they're affectionate. They'll nuzzle your cheek and stuff. I mean, they come to like you, but yeah, whole different ball game. All right, I think before I talk more, it's like we're doing a pet infomercial here. I'm just trying to think about something other than the world collapsing, producer Mark.
This is what happens when we're this bored. We have nothing else to talk about.
Tomorrow, do we do like a deep dive into Netflix or something? We got to figure something
I think
else.
we've done that a lot.
I know, but I'm trying to think of, we talk about a book here. We don't do a Mark's book review corner or something. We got no sports. We got no other news going on. We got COVID-19 fight, pandemic situation all over the world, not even just here in America. And other than that, it's kind of like maybe
there actually will be live sports this weekend.
There will be?
They're doing a horse competition.
Wait, like basketball, the game horse?
Yes.
That's the most
live on
boring
ESPN.
That's the most boring thing I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, it's better than absolutely nothing that they have right now.
I mean, are they going to dunk and stuff at least?
I have no idea. It's like a couple former players, a WNBA player, a couple current NBA players from their own homes.
Isn't the mixed martial arts, isn't MMA, aren't they doing
it's WWE.
No, but aren't they doing like an island or something, and they're going to have they're renting an island and going to have a fight there, or am I crazy?
I think I did see something about MMA, UFC
right?
signing a contract.
The penalty box, you got to find out for us, okay? I think there's some MMA thing that's going on, so we can ask you about that one tomorrow. All right, now let's hear from all the folks across the country. Roll call time. Okay, roll call time. Travis, I am a sales rep for Pepsi in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You were wondering if we got a boost in pay to show up for work every day during the pandemic. We all did get raises, and I know that my friends at Coke did as well. Shields high, brother. Travis, good to hear. People should be rewarded. This is not a normal time for the market. It's not a normal time for the economy. We are making decisions to fight against this pandemic, and part of it is going to be the financial incentive for people, the financial reward for people who are out there on the front lines who could be saying, I'm just going to stay home and get a check from the government too. But they're showing up for their jobs. Truckers, grocery store clerks, UPS workers, postal service workers, CVS, Dwayne Reed, name your drugstore employees, food delivery people, pizza delivery guys. Thank you, and gals, to all of you for doing what you do every day. You are not just keeping us fed. That little piece of normalcy that you are keeping going for us is part of our collective grip on sanity right now. The ability to still go to a store, go to your drugstore, get products. I know we got social distancing, we got all these things, but that is helping us keep it all together. I know it's helping me keep it all together. So thank you for that. I mean, we really, people often, we thank this, we thank. No, really, it's so meaningful, and you would have never thought that we'd be in a situation like this where all of a sudden, the whole country is focused in on, and the farmers out there who are doing what you do, thank you for keeping us fed. The whole country is focused on those who are often underappreciated and just expected to do what they do as part of the economy. No. No one is expected to do anything right now. Everybody who's stepping up and showing up is showing a lot about who they are and what they're willing to do for their fellow Americans and for this country. And it's not something, not only should we continue to say thank you, and of course doctors, nurses, first-line health responders too, not only should we say thank you, but we should all remember this. We should all remember this. There's been an elevation in the American consciousness of those who are doing jobs that are often underappreciated. All right, more roll call here. Arnold writes in to say, Buck, in the wake of what you are facing in NYC, I could not help but think of Akeem's Good Morning My Neighbors comment and Coming to America in a totally different context. Avid binge listener, Shields High from Northeastern Ohio. Well, Arnold, first of all, thank you so much for listening to the show, and I hope you're excited for the Malta podcast that we will be doing soon, hoping to get it recorded this weekend and out next week. That's my plan. I might need one more week, but I don't think anyone's really going anywhere, so the good news is that you'll be able to listen. And as for, Coming to America is a great movie. Producer Mark, where are you? Give me your top 3 all-time Eddie Murphy. I know I've already asked you this. You had that. Yeah. I did. I asked you this because I think that's an interesting discussion. It's like top 3 Schwarzenegger, top 3 Eddie Murphy. What's your top 3 Stallone? What do you got for me? Top 3 Stallone.
I mean, I have no idea. Off the top of my head,
man. You Gen Z. Oh no, you're no.
I need to look at a list of Stallone movies. You got to give me a second. You can't just. I mean, Rocky, obviously.
Rocky's number 1. You don't even need to think about this.
That's what first came to my head, but you got to give me a second.
I got one for you. Would you co-sign on this? Rocky is the greatest sports movie of all time.
Ooh.
Rocky 1.
I mean, that's tough because there's a lot of amazing sports movies. That's up
true.
There. It's certainly up there.
But also the backstory of it, that he wrote the script and that he turned down $1 million and he insisted on starring in it, and it's an incredible story.
Have you seen the Creed movies? Because I love them.
They're excellent.
Yeah.
excellent. That guy, Michael B. Jordan, does a phenomenal. See, I was a fan of his back from when he played the sort of star quarterback guy in Friday Night Lights. I thought he was excellent in that and really kind of carried the show in the latter seasons. I'm a big Friday Night Lights fan, although the writers' strike and it went off the rails in the second season and then a short third season. So the show, unfortunately, had some problems, some sort of structural problems. But did you ever see Friday Night Lights?
I didn't. I didn't even know he was in that. Now that I know Michael B. Jordan's in that.
You should definitely. I think it might. I don't know if it's on Hulu or Netflix. It's definitely out there to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely streaming somewhere.
You should definitely watch that. You would like that. It's you know the movie, right? Friday Night Lights.
Of course.
Right. So it's like they made that into a TV show. I think you would find it.
It's hard to beat the movie though.
The movie's good. I think the TV show is actually better.
Really?
We have to see. You got to check it out. The TV show has a rabid fan base. Like the fans for that show freak out. They love it. All right. I'll get back to roll call. Sorry, guys. I got a little distracted there. William, greetings, Buck and producer Mark. I just want to say that there was more to Wisconsin voting than just the primary. We were voting for a Supreme Court seat. The conservative Second Amendment supporting incumbent was challenged by a left-wing nutjob. I love this audience so much. You guys and gals are amazing. We can't let overblown phobia of the Rona cost us the last of any freedoms we have if we can help it. Is that what people are referring to as the Rona? I keep seeing Rona talked about.
There's a lot of TikToks about it.
Is TikTok? That's what I was trying to figure out. TikTok Rona.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Twitter thing. It's a TikTok thing.
It's a TikTok thing. There's like songs about the Rona. Yeah. People are very bored.
Did you see the hip hop video about like get your coronavirus away from me?
I think I did. Yeah.
It's amazing.
There's really some funny stuff out there.
It's really good. I got to say, those gentlemen were very talented. All right. Sorry. William writes, the polls in my township maintain social distancing and allow only 2 voters in the building at a time. Shields high. Yeah, William, I mean, it sounds like if you do this stuff with an eye to keeping people safe, then you're being responsible. I don't know. I got to look more into this Wisconsin voting. It's obviously a lot of people are picking sides on it based on what they want to be the case instead of what the case necessarily is. Craig, here we go. Buck, I began listening to you via podcast after hearing you on Rush a few years ago. You have a great show and are now part of my daily routine along with Rush. Well, Craig, I could not be in better company, and it's an honor to be, at least on your docket, to be right alongside the one and only Rush Limbaugh, the greatest in this medium of all time. Thanks for getting back to being the old Buck on Monday. I mean, I'm glad your critical thinking and questioning of the experts in government is back. Prior to last Friday, your show was getting a woe is us vibe that was getting hard for me to listen to, but don't worry, I still listened. I think there's a better way to handle this than just shutting down the country across the board. Hotspots such as NYC had to be contained and managed, but to treat other more rural states in the middle of the country the same does not make sense. Thus, I'm really curious to see how Sweden's cases end up when this is all over. May have been a better solution. I guess time will tell. I pray that the experts make an effort to collect useful data from this so we learn the proper lessons for the future. Hopefully better risk decisions are made going forward to get everyone back to work. I can't imagine what would or will have happened if President Trump was not the man in charge. Yeah, Craig, look, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You staying with me, even if I had a couple of days that were tough here. You got to remember, I mean, here in New York, we've been on shutdown longer, and it's been a more intense shutdown, as well as having really, really terrible numbers coming out of our health system about how many people are dying. So, it's bad. Think of it this way. It's like I was doing a show about, a hurricane, and I'm doing the show while the hurricane's going on right where I am, right? I mean, that's you're going to have a different view of that hurricane than if you're in other parts of the country that are just having some bad weather, which we know can happen, right? The storm system can result in, severe thunderstorms elsewhere. But I'm in the place where the houses are getting blown down, if you know what I mean. And so that can affect your perception a little bit. And I'm also right near the center of a lot of where New York activity is. I mean, I live close to what you think of as the most crowded part, in some ways, the commercial beating heart of the city. I'm right here. And so I'm really close to when it goes ghost town, we really saw it. That all said, yeah, absolutely. I'm questioning the experts because now I can see that they're wrong about some stuff. So when the experts come out and say, do what I say, you're going to die. I'm like, okay, I guess we can shut down for a couple of weeks and see where we are. And this is extreme, and now it's do what we say, or you're going to die. And I'm saying, all right, but you've been saying that. And there's some other stuff I want answers to. I think that's a normal progression, a normal thought process here. And I wish that more people would see it that way. But there are people that would prefer to believe that somehow asking questions means you're unfeeling, uncaring, and don't mind that people are dying, which is a horrible thing. A horrible thing for anyone to think. And it's obviously a terrible thing that we're losing so many people to this virus. But, we're going to keep asking those questions, Craig, so keep listening. Nicole, you had covered the Colorado fella she wrote fella. There you go. Being arrested for playing t-ball in the park with his kid. Thought I'd let you know the mayor reached out and apologized to the gent. I think they all realized the gross overreach of authority. Yeah, you don't say. I worked full-time from home, have the last 5 years, and with all 4 kids home while the hub still ventures to work, it's fun. I used to homeschool my kids, so it's a welcome addition, but I know it's not for everyone. The only thing I don't care for is cooking so many meals a week. Well, it's good to know that you're adapting so strongly to the situation, Nicole. I'm glad to hear things are going well. Homeschooling of kids has been very interesting. Some people seem to really like it, and some people say that it's very, very challenging. I have no personal data on this one, unless you consider a very willful and very food-obsessed French bulldog to be some form of homeschooling of a canine. But I have to go only by the data you all give me about how it is to try and help people help your kids learn. So we'll see. We'll see if that ends up being a bigger movement. The homeschooling movement has been growing in recent years, and I can understand a lot of the appeal. I understand why people think, because I used to be like, well, wait a second, but don't you need more interaction? And the homeschooling people that I've talked to say we still do group sports, still take the kids out to play, on the soccer team, and they still get to do activities with other kids. They just get one-on-one instruction in a safe and non-lib dominated brainwashing environment. That seems like they're good. Again, I have no experience of this, so I can only go on what I'm told, but it seems like it makes sense to me. Brian, Buck, you and Mark keep me safe and warm at night. Everyone knows all you have to do is write that, and you're going to get into roll call. You're going to beat out the hundreds of other messages and get into roll call. Your analogy to an induced coma is good, but in this case, Pelosi is not one of the provider team who will have to get us out. She is the greedy relative insisting that we make changes to the will before inducing the coma, knowing that she can get away with what she wants because the rest of the team just wants to hurry up and get on with the process. Brian, I appreciate that you are leaning far into our analogy here and really making the most of it. So there we go. I feel like in this thing also, if the country were in this induced coma, producer Mark would be the cousin who's in the corner making cracks when do we get to find out where the mistress is? You know what I mean? What do you think, producer Mark?
Absolutely. I'm always the one to make the joke at the worst possible time.
Yeah. I'm just saying, producer Mark, I've gotten to know him well. Jeff, Buck, I love your show. I listened to the day prior on podcast just before Glenn Beck and Rush. The 4 of you should have a TV show called The Conservative View just to upset the left. Well, that'd be a lot of fun, actually. Bet the women on The View would lose their minds in ratings. Shields high and stay safe and God bless. P.S. Get out of New York. Well, Jeff, we appreciate that you love the show. And I like that you listened the day prior on podcast. That's great. Please tell people about the podcast. Very helpful for us to have more and more listeners. So, yes, indeed. Thank you so much. And with that, we'll get back into roll call in a second. All right, Jason, up next in roll call. Hey, Space Lord Super Ninja Buck and producer Mark. There we go. I work in a warehouse for an HVAC and plumbing wholesaler, and as a result, I'm considered an essential employee. So far, we are still busy, but we haven't taken a dramatic hit to our business. For now, I'm just grateful to have a place to work where I'm not stuck in the house all day. Lucky for me, it's kind of hard to drive a forklift from the couch. Hey, man, Jason, thanks for keeping stuff going. The more normalcy in the economy we can have, the better off the rest of us who are under lockdown are going to be. Need to keep stuff going, to keep those packages shipped and to keep the HVACs and plumbing. They actually turned the water off in my building today. So I had to pour some Brita on my hands to make the swoop happen, because now the swoop is so long that I have to, pull my hair back. And, producer Mark can't see it. Producer Nick can. Producer Nick, would you send me a message right now and tell me if we could start to get you in on some of this? Would you join us for our late in the day chat here about all things happening? Producer Nick, he actually has kind of a similar sense of humor to producer Mark, believe it or not. So it's going to be like 2-on-1. I'm going to be here, the earnest, perhaps too optimistic about life, and then Mark and Nick will come in and tell you what's really happening. So, yeah, he says he could. All right, there we go. We'll have some more fun here later on in the show. All right. Oh, speaking of Nick. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Oh, no, we did do Jason. Speaking of Nick, we got another Nick. Hey, Buck, I'm a gig driver here in West Michigan. I did what I was told for almost 2 weeks and didn't work per the government. Whitmer's shelter-in-place order, but since I have no cash left, basically I'm forced to go back and work. It isn't as dire, I feel, as Whitmer is making it out to be. They've got a completely skewed data set that they're making these soon-to-be long-lasting effects of decisions being made. Whitmer is playing politics, I feel, with this whole situation. Mark my words, if she becomes Biden's VP, she never really had Michiganders' interests at heart. Found you looking for conservative content on Pluto TV. I also watch The Blaze. Just wanted to share my feedback and opinion, which is shared by many others. I know the divide the Democrats created in the country is making half of us go, yeah, forget you, after 3+ years of constant abuse and supporting the president. I'm sorry, but enough's enough. Too much damage is being done. Make no mistake about it. When Whitmer gets dragged into court over it, she better have her data set ready to be presented to have justified all this. Nick, thank you for the eloquent message. I'm so glad to hear that you're finding that you're a new member of Team Buck and that you found us just from looking at Pluto TV. Any of you want to see the show, if you want to watch the show on video, you can always, it's a free app. Pluto TV is a great app to have. A lot of different content on there. Super user-friendly and easy. This is not, like back in the day, there were some of these other streaming digital things, and I couldn't even figure them out, and I was on them. I was on the platform. Now this is super straightforward. We also have our YouTube channel, which we're putting out on social media to get you to subscribe to, which is another great. So if you're not on Pluto TV, you can always look at us on the YouTube show, and that's a great way to do it. So there we have it. Matthew, I'm working at HEB Supermarket down near San Antonio. Matthew, shields high. Thank you for the work you're doing. They've increased our pay and have masks and gloves if we want to use them. It doesn't feel that bad down here as in New York, but there's a serious concern on what is going on with the whole country. Well, Matthew, I think that's really common. I think that's what we're hearing from a lot of people, that they realize that they're not as bad as New York. I'm in the worst of this here. Worst cases, most deaths. For a lot of you, yeah, it's out there, and it's something people are aware of, and it seems scary, but it seems like a lot of places are able to hold the numbers down pretty well. No one is going to go back anytime soon to, kissing on the cheek, shaking hands, big crowds. We're just saying, hey, if we put on a mask and gloves and we're not in a high-risk category, can we do our jobs? Can we open stores? What if the stores have people with masks and gloves, but then they have social distancing in place? They can only allow a lot of retail stores, especially small businesses, for example. They don't have more than 5 or 10 people in there at a time anyway, but they could sell golf clubs. They could sell sweaters. They could, we could have commerce still going on safely. And we'd also have that human connectivity, that human back and forth that I think a lot of us, I know we all miss terribly, and a lot of us kind of depend on and keep sane. So I think that's a discussion to be had right now. Carl writes, Aloha, Buck. I'm assuming Carl is from Hawaii. It's my understanding Tedros Adhanom, the man that runs the World Health Organization, is not a doctor. He's an Ethiopian microbiologist and internationally recognized malaria researcher. Tedros is the first non-physician and first African in the role. Oh, so he's a PhD in microbiology. That's actually better than I thought. I thought he was a PhD in like public health policy or something. So he's a scientist, but that doesn't mean he's doing a good job at the top of the WHO, does it? Paul, regarding your title envy over producer Mark, Stag Commander Buck, Stag for Strategic Task Air Group. Go with that. You are strategic. Your task is spreading freedom. You are on the air. Your listeners are your group. Oh, and a stag is a buck. Paul is very, very clever, but I don't think we're going to get producer Mark to call me Stag Commander.
Yeah, no chance.
I had a feeling that was going to be the answer. Yep. Didn't think that was going to work. Guys, we got a lot more roll call, but we'll get to these tomorrow. We'll have Friday. We'll have a whole sesh. We'll discuss, coffee, freedom, talk, all the things we do. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back with you tomorrow. You guys are my daily salvation. Please spread the word about this show. We will get through this together. I'm already starting to feel like we're almost seeing the light at the end of the lockdown tunnel. It's not there yet, but we're getting close. Shields high.